Oh, what a wonderful night. Night after Halloween, and of course, we decided we needed to dress the part because this is a show that's better than you, and you know it. Wait a minute. There's supposed to be three of us, right?
Yes, there is supposed to be three of us. We planned this out, and I don't understand why there's only two of us. Where's RJ?
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Hi, friends! Welcome to a very special Wrestling with Egos Funhouse. I'm RJ. You can find me at RJ Eman with 2 N's. I'm here with my buddies Patrick at Rant Mode On and Brian B. Kriego 15. You're watching us on YouTube and listening to us on Anchor Podcasts. Our Google repository for all our past shows is bit.ly/withegos. If you want to email the show, you can email us at wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. What is it, Pharaoh? He's coming. He's here? Yowie wowie! Let me in.
What the bloody hell was that?
Are we good to continue, or because the A-lister here has a lot to get off his chest today, but if we're gonna get invaded again, I don't know. I mean,
Jeez. RJ, you got issues, man.
A little bit.
we're glad we found you, but
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, dressed as MJF, I got to do an impression of of a WWE Hall of Famer here. Sure. Wow. Anyway, ton to talk about. You've already seen the socials. Let's get into it. Jesus Christ, RJ. I can't even look at you on our split screen right now because I'm just like, okay, I really am questioning one of my boys now. Damn. I didn't.
it's just
Anyway,
prediction. That's all it is.
I know, man. That's getting it. Well, let's go ahead. Since, one of us is dressed as, for some Wednesday night action, let's start with Wednesday. And had some good stuff on Wednesday with both Dynamite and with NXT. Great matches in NXT, but NXT was more of a setup for the future, and AEW Dynamite was definitely the here and now with crowning of inaugural AEW World Tag Team Champions in SCU. Is it possible for these two teams to have a crappy match?
I don't think so.
If you put SCU and the Lucha Brothers in the ring together, is 100 times, is it possible to at least get a 1% crappy match probability?
I really don't think it can happen.
I don't either. Oh my God. And we keep talking about this guy. We keep talking about the fact that the tag team division in AEW, far and away better than anything else we're seeing, despite what we saw at Crown Jewel with that tag team turmoil match. which was actually pretty freaking good. We'll get to, believe it or not, good things happen at Crown Jewel. We actually might talk a little bit about it. At least one thing that RJ may or may not have alluded to. Just say it. Anyway, though, in regards to just that, first off, well, other things that happened. Let's talk tag team titles. First off, the title belts look sweet. I think they look really cool.
Yeah.
If we're ranking tag title belts, I would actually put them at number 2 overall, right under the WWE Women's Tag Team title belts. I think those look killer. My opinion. Anyway, great match. I am not doubling down on this. I'm tripling down on the fact that we have a star in the making in Scorpio Sky. You're looking at Scorpio Sky being in the ring with 3 former world champions in different companies. And Scorpio Sky's holding his own with all 3 of them. He belonged in that ring. He belonged in that group with Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, who Christopher Daniels in his heyday might have been one of the greatest technicians of that time. No question. I mean, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles. I mean, those guys the whole time. Good Lord. I was just amazed at the story they told, at the pace of that match, and it did not let up. It was like holding your breath through a massive drop of a roller coaster, but it never stopped. And I found the match to be extremely exhilarating, despite how short it was. I mean, we only got, 13, 14 minutes out of that?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
And I thought it was the perfect length, because in my notes for the show tonight, I talked about how just like, and I'm forgetting who he wrestled, and it's just like Jericho. I'm sorry, guys. Who did Jericho wrestle to become the champion? Hangman Page. Just like those two had a great match that kind of, was the starting point for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I thought Lucha Brothers versus SCU was a great place to start. When you look back at the first matches of a promotion and how they crown their champion, you can't do much better than this, because there were no mistakes that I saw. Everybody got their chance to shine. And the Lucha Brothers continue to be a revelation to me every time I see them wrestle, because, the rope action and the outside the ring action and the transitions and the false finishes, and it was just a great match. But I thought the length was just right, because again, let's not forget, you've got 2 hours of TV that you're working with here, and there was a lot of other things going on, which I want to get to for my good, as part of good, bad, and ugly, that you were trying to set up too.
Right.
But I thought 14 minutes or so was just enough time for that match to breathe and get its point across.
Yeah. RJ, what say you on the tag team title match? And then we will go into our good, bad, and the ugly, because I totally forgot to talk about that. My bad.
You might have got a little bit distracted there at the beginning. I will forgive you.
I'm gonna blame the dude in the mask. I'm gonna blame the dude.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the tag title match was absolutely phenomenal. All 4 guys tore it down the way that we absolutely know they all can. One guy I want to give a lot of shine to is Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix is an absolute master on the ropes, and I don't think that he gets the run for best wrestler in the world the way that he should. I don't necessarily think he is the best, but I never even hear him in the conversation, and I think that's absurd. Rey Fenix is absolutely phenomenal. He's one of the reasons when I watch AAA shows, he's one of the reasons why I watch AAA shows. Like him and Penta, and there's some other guys too. But Ray Phoenix just blew the Villain in Training away on Wednesday night. And it's hard for stuff outside of the WWE to really impress my young man. So it's Ray Phoenix left an impression on him and everybody that watched that match. With that said, the tag champions are the right decision. It's got to be SCU.
I agree. Real quick, because this is not something we did when we discussed either the women's championship or the heavyweight championship. Who do you think is the next tag team champions of AEW? Who's gonna unseat them?
I want to say it's either Private Party or the Dark Order. Private Party's getting super over super fast. And I know how a couple of the EVPs feel about the Dark Order. The Young Bucks have said multiple times that the Super Smash Brothers, which is what the Dark Order used to be called, are their favorite opponents that they've ever wrestled, and they think they're one of the best tag teams of all time. So knowing how highly the Bucks think of the Dark Order, I feel like it might be them.
And they're really good. What say you, Brian?
I think you can't overlook the fact that Private Party was sitting ringside for the final. I mean, that, can't be an accident. So I wonder if, because you also can't forget the narrative that's going on with the Bucks themselves. Because the Bucks themselves, unless I'm missing my guess, have had a pretty bad run of it lately in terms of, high profile losses. So I feel like in the background, maybe they're developing this narrative of what's wrong with the Bucks. And then you have this long story arc where eventually it won't be at Full Gear, obviously, because that's too soon. But maybe their January pay-per-view or their March pay-per-view where they compete with WrestleMania, perhaps. You see the Bucks' road to redemption, maybe. And then that has them finally winning the belts. But I suppose in the short term, I suppose you give it to Private Party only because I know more about them than I know of the Dark Order. I'm still trying to figure them out, maybe.
This is where we all disagree. You guys are saying Private Party. I'm saying that the tag titles will be the next thing that the Inner Circle strikes at, and I think it's actually going to be Santana and Ortiz. I think they're calling them Proud.
I don't know if that's their name, but yeah, that's what they say all the time now.
Yeah, Santana and Ortiz. I think it's going to be them because I think, kind of along with what you said, Brian, we're going to have a Bucks road to redemption. At Full Gear, I think Santana and Ortiz pick up the victory, which leads them into a program, Mr. Mizanin, with SCU for the titles. They will eventually beat SCU for the titles, and then the payoff will be when the Bucks take the titles off of Santana and Ortiz. And then
very sound. All very sound.
And then the Bucks will use their clout as arguably the best tag team on planet Earth to put over someone like Private Party. Because think about this, you could also have, by this time, a third or a fourth match between the Bucks and Private Party, and maybe the Bucks are still looking for that W over this very young and very athletic and exciting tag team. So,
I love how we just wrote like 2 years of TV.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. I've literally gotten us. Worst case scenario, I have gotten us into Full Gear. Full Gear 2019. No, I'm sorry. Full Gear 2020.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my years mixed up.
How many shows you running before Full Gear?
Yeah, I know, right?
Jeez.
One every night. They're all gonna be on pay-per-view, just like Impact used to do.
Twice on Sunday. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, man. Hey,
RJ's for it.
Hey,
I am all for it. I'm broke, but I'm all for it.
Revenue. Yeah, man. All
They would eat
RJ.
my bank account alive if they did that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was not my idea, so I can't get the money. Anyway, good, bad, ugly. How about you good?
I gotta go with the decision to make SCU the first AEW tag champs. I think it was the best decision anybody made all week. It's gotta be SCU.
Brian, good.
Brian's evolution continues. My good is the multi-layered storytelling throughout the episode of AEW on Wednesday, where you have Tony Schiavone and meeting Cody and Dustin Rhodes at the helicopter, and they get in the limousine, and then they have the little interview in the limousine, and Cody's like, I know Jericho's already at the arena, but you got to make him wait. Star makes him wait. And then they're walking across the parking lot, and then they have the tete-a-tete at the top of the ramp, and it culminates with, you know, we're weaving Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara into this. They're beating up Dustin Rhodes out in the parking lot, slamming his head into the limousine, which looked painful.
Dent
but-
inside that limo?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in a cast now. Dustin is.
I figured as much, but that took up conservatively about 39 or 40 minutes of TV time, but it was brilliantly done. It didn't feel overwrought. It didn't feel the word that kept coming through my head is this is nostalgic. This reminds me of, you know, old school, you know, Four Horsemen type stuff and Dusty Rhodes type stuff. And
I got to piggyback off that, dude. Not even that. Not even to that level. Dustin's arm in the car, slamming the door on his arm. That is a Dusty move if there ever was one. Because how many times did it happen in NWA/WCW? And not only that, how many freaking times has it ever happened to Dustin Rhodes himself? I can literally, in my memory of watching NWA and WCW and now AEW, this is at least the third time I have seen Dustin Rhodes have his arm in a car, bam.
So it was masterfully done, and you wondered why Jericho wasn't really intent on mixing it up with Cody.
Nope.
Because he had a master plan. He had the boys in the back, you know.
In here.
I love the Happy Halloween from Jericho before he got
that
in
was
the car.
hilarious.
I loved it. My good, I'm actually going to go to Crown Jewel. Believe it or not. We didn't talk about this on last week's show because, quite honestly, we didn't know about it because it wasn't announced until the day before Crown Jewel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Natalia versus Lacey Evans in the middle of that card, live in front of a sold-out crowd in Saudi Arabia. Yep. You have to think about how big that is in terms of not just a match, but a global moment in like literally human history. It was really cool, and the ladies went out there dressed appropriately for the culture. I applaud them for that, although you knew they were going to. And then them two let beat the living hell out of each other. I mean, it was not a little prissy, you know, we're going to go light on this match. They sent out two chicks that know how to friggin' throw down. One's a Heart, one's a Marine.
Right.
And it was just like, hey, go to work, loosen some teeth.
It definitely wasn't just a token women's match. They went out there for the house.
And it wasn't even a token women's match for this generation of women's matches. It was snug.
Oh, yeah.
And great match. That's my good. RJ, how about your bad?
I will pick Rusev, Lashley, and Lana until they stop. That's the bad. I hate the whole thing. It's awful.
Yeah. Brian.
Ditto. I have the same thing written down because I finally, you know, this week it was, you know, fast forward button time because it's like there's no possible end game that could come out of this.
I'll
Even
tell you
if
the best thing
Rusev,
they did.
what now?
I'll tell you the best thing they did. There was one positive thing about the Lana Rusev Lashley thing, and that was that they put it at the end of the show so I could turn it off.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It was the last segment of the show, so I just said, "Oh, show's over. Turn it off."
Right. And I even had a problem with that because that you don't put that storyline in the last segment of the show.
The reason that they did is kids. It's got to be kids. It's got to be they want it as late in the show as they possibly can so the kids are in bed. That's got to be it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree because it's getting a little heat, a little steamy. I'm gonna go ahead and skip my bad because I'll give you 3 guesses to what it is, and the first 2 don't count. RJ, what's your ugly?
The fact that there are over 120 WWE employees that are still stuck in Saudi Arabia.
I'm sorry, I don't see that as ugly. I see that as freaking hilarious.
The ugly part for me is that Vince is on American soil, and I think that's ridiculous.
That's horseshit. I'm not beeping that one. I didn't know.
Yeah, I read it a little while before. Yeah. Oh yeah. That I got so angry. That's why it's my ugly, because Vince is here and they're still all over there. Well, they might be in a plane by now. I don't know. It's been a couple hours since I checked, but I know they're not home yet.
All right. Well, Vince McMahon gets my award this week for the worst person in wrestling. Brian, what's your ugly?
My ugly is the same thing, but there's no trace of hilarity to this. And I think this underscores the 3 of us have danced around the topic. We haven't really devoted a lot of airtime to it, but I'm gonna start the ball rolling on it. I don't know that we want to devote airtime to it this week, but
Not really.
I wonder at what cost you continue to do business in this regard, because yes, I'm aware that it's lucrative, and I get that. I'm aware that you're lining your coffers with money, and I understand that. And yes, I get the cultural ramifications of being able to perform over there, and all the good that you think you might be doing by having historic type matches. But when more than half of your employees are detained in a foreign country, laugh if you must, but that's scary. And you as the employer should be staying there with them, trying to work the situation out without bombast, without threatening, because you don't threaten them. That's a bad move. And it smacks of poor planning, lack of preparation, and I just wonder at what, I know it's a 10-year deal or whatever it is, so they're going to keep doing it, but it's a bad look all the way around. So it's ugly for me with no trace of hilarity whatsoever.
Well, see, I thought it was hilarious until I knew that Vince got his ass on a plane, got the crap out of there, and left everybody else high and dry. It's not funny. That's not funny anymore. Vince is a cockbag.
And then they double down by all the promotions for SmackDown tonight. Ooh, what surprises are in store? Don't do that. Yeah. And I'll call WWE on the carpet on this one. I'm Mr. WWE guy on this show, and everybody knows that. But don't take a situation that you created and you stepped in and try and spin it to me as, ooh, watch tonight because I wonder what's going to happen. You don't get to have it both ways in this situation here.
No,
it's one thing when an illness like what happened in 2017 forces you to call audibles left and right, forces you to bring AJ Styles back from a European tour for one night only to let him wrestle Finn Balor. That's one thing. That's illness, that's unforeseen and all that stuff. But you knew what you were doing here. You had control of this situation. You decided to put your employees out there with at least the potential kind of out in the ether there for this to happen. So I'm not giving you guys a pass on this one. Sorry. It's just bad business.
Brian,
Yeah.
there's a three-word phrase you need to say. What's my
hashtag rant mode on, hashtag rant mode off. Sorry.
thank
I
you.
didn't even realize I was gonna go that full bore. I just thought I was gonna speak my piece and be done with it, but I just, turn the jet afterburners on.
He got so mad he couldn't turn back, as we would say down south. My ugly, no, don't get me
Sorry,
wrong.
not sorry.
I'm not saying you have to be. Moving on. My ugly, I'm not going to piggyback off them because how can I follow Brian? Brian could also honestly go hashtag FTMF on that one. Follow that. I'll let you figure out the other ones. My ugly, why in blackest hell did we essentially have a UFC fight for the WWE Heavyweight Championship?
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. All kinds.
No, don't get me wrong. There were good and bad in Crown Jewel, and we will talk about that later.
For sure.
And there were some really, really good and a few bad. But those bads were so bad, kind of weighed the whole thing down.
Yeah.
It's a theme every time they go over there.
Yeah.
There's some really good stuff, but most of it is just like pointless. Why are we even bothering?
The vast majority of the show I felt was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It was, in my opinion, if you take, for example, the Tyson Fury Braun Strowman match out, if you take if you take Cain Velasquez Brock Lesnar out, if you take those two out completely, and you give me the rest of the show, that is an A pay-per-view, in my opinion.
It's so WWE. That's so WWE. Take the 4 guys that were on the poster for the show off the show, and it's fantastic.
Take your 2 headliners out, and man, what a show we've got for you. Tune in.
And this is what pisses me off so much about it, guys. Those were the 4 guys on the poster. Who was the freaking main event? Who closed the damn show? Seth and Bray. I'd like to point out that the UFC fight was the first match.
Yeah. Oh,
What?
Did you see that they advertised Brock for SmackDown?
Oh yeah.
So that's why it was the first match, so he could do his match and leave.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's why I hate it. Anyway, moving right along.
Hey,
You got,
RJ.
Yeah.
So what?
When's Full Gear again? Just kidding.
Yeah.
November 9th, sir.
Okay.
No, right next week.
Guess what?
What?
I ordered it today.
Nice. Can I come over?
Sure.
Anyway, moving right along. RJ, what else? In short, because there's so much more we got to talk about, and I'm not trying to call you out, Brian, because you took up time, but we have been called out by some viewers for running a little long. So I'd like to try and keep this compact. Is there anything else from AEW you feel like we need to discuss, like right here, right now?
The Moxley promo was unreal.
Oh my God!
I don't know how you could have a guy like that and squander him for as long as they did in that other company. Oh God, that promo was unbelievable.
RJ, who did that other company have on their promotional poster for Crown Jewel?
I know.
Can you name for me the 4 people involved in the 2 crappiest matches of the night? I rest my case.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that Moxley promo, and don't get me wrong, I've always kind of still been on the fence as to whether John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, whatever the bloody hell you want to call him, is overrated. I'm still not sold on him, but damn, like that was a promo. That was good. That was venom. That was pissed off. I was like, I liked it. I'd like to see what they do moving forward with Moxley because, okay, cool. He had one really good promo. Even though it wasn't technically aired in WWE, and that's when he lost that match to Rollins. I think when he lost, he lost. It was a match in Cincinnati at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, Rollins.
And then they were comparing it to like Dusty's Hard Times promo, which I found that insulting as hell. Anyway, so should we go ahead and switch gears to NXT?
Sure.
All right. For me, as far as the matches, there weren't any like high explosive, oh my God matches, even though I'd like to point out, RJ, you might be onto something. Did you guys notice that when the AEW World Tag Team title match was going on, so was O'Reilly and Fish versus Riddle and Lee? Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that.
They're not watching Dynamite.
Yeah.
Kiss my, as Judge Judy would say, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Absolutely.
That match was really, really good. And I've always been of the belief that Red Dragon is one of the best tag teams in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I, like you, Brian, have been on the Keith Lee boat like for since I saw him in NXT, because that was my first exposure. And I keep asking myself week after week, how does a dude 340 pounds move like that? It is freakish. And Matt Riddle is winning. Matt Riddle is starting to win me over. I'm starting to realize he tells very good stories in the ring. That match was great. The brawl afterwards was more important because, as Ciampa said to Goldie when Ciampa got involved, you're going to have to wait. Daddy's going to war. Leading us to War Games, which you guys, RJ, you're a whore for the Royal Rumble. I am a whore for War Games. That is my favorite gimmick match there is. Give it to me. Yes. All night long. Put every damn, give me a pay-per-view where you just kill off everybody on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT 4-on-4 every damn match, and they're all in War Games.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. So, obviously, for the third straight year, one half of War Games is going to be the Undisputed Era. Yeah, exactly. Which leads me to believe you're going to get Keith Lee, you're going to get Matt Riddle, you're going to get Tommaso Ciampa, and a fourth guy. Who you think? Who is the fourth guy? I've got my answer already, but I want to hear what you guys have to think. What you guys have to say.
I don't know.
Gee whiz.
Can I then if you guys are thinking about it, let me
The only one that makes sense to me, it's not going to be Finn or Johnny because I feel like they're going to have a one-on-one match. Dominic Dijakovic.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You're going to get Finn and Johnny part 1. Let's be honest.
Of 31.
You're going to get Finn and Johnny part 1 at Takeover War Games which leads it to be Dijakovic because they kept me. I lost count of how many times Mauro Ranallo mentioned that Dijakovic wanted to be Keith Lee's partner. At least 5 times. Mauro Ranallo ain't saying that 5 damn times just to say.
Right.
He's making a point. Dijakovic will be the 4th guy. And here's what I'm thinking. Everything's on the line.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They'll put all 4 titles on the line, and they'll do it like this. If they can easily do it like this. If the other team wins, Tommaso Ciampa becomes NXT champ. Dijakovic becomes North American champ. Keith Lee, Matt Riddle tag champs.
That makes sense.
Or Matt Riddle as North American champ, Keith Lee and Dijakovic as tag champs. Because I think Dijakovic over the next couple of weeks is going to start earning the trust of Keith Lee, because that was another point that Mauro Ranallo made on commentary. He just didn't trust it. So, so that's my take on that. RJ, you brought up promos. I want to bring up a promo. Finn, that was not Finn Balor. I don't know who WWE is trying to convince me of who that was, but that guy in the black jacket and the blue and the black t-shirt and the black jeans that was in the ring with just a spotlight and cut that promo on NXT and Bray Wyatt and Johnny Gargano, that was not Finn Balor. That was Prince Devitt.
It was.
That was a Prince Devitt real rock and roller promo. And I'm here for it.
Me too. Couldn't be more here for it. Too sweet.
Oh, hell yes.
I queued it up and showed the lovebird, and she goes, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Bunch of Twitter tough guys out there on social media. We unpacked this at length last week. I'm not going to go into it again, but I need to see a heel Finn, and I think that's what we're getting, obviously.
Here's the line that stood out to me, and this line, no joke, gave me the chicken skin, gave me a little goosebumps because it was just so poignant. Some guy put a mask on and became the hottest thing in the business. Sorry, I tried to do Dusty Rhodes for a second. I don't know why. I took my mask off and became the hottest thing in the business. I'm like, oh crap.
That wasn't lost on me.
Oh no.
But the line that got me was, Johnny watches wrestling. I was like, oh, brother.
Oh my God. That line was unreal.
Shots fired.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see the interplay.
Right.
And what depths he goes to, because he's going to have to go to some depths.
Oh yeah.
That we have yet to have seen.
And don't get me wrong. You guys know I love Johnny Gargano. I am a huge fan of him. RJ, we know how much of a fan of him you are. Kind of the fact that, you may or may not have his phone number. But I feel for Johnny Gargano in this. Because Johnny Gargano is going to have to cut a promo.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to cut a promo against Finn Balor. Yep. And I'm sorry, I love Johnny in the ring, but on the mic, Johnny Gargano cannot carry Finn Balor's jock.
No, I agree with you. It's been like that for as long as I can remember. He's not good with the mic.
Yeah, and truth be told, in the ring, he might not be able to carry his jock there. Don't get me wrong.
Is it me, or over the last month to 2 months plus, have the fans started to turn on Johnny a little bit?
A little bit. Just it's not all the way there yet, but it's coming.
Because I feel a bit of a backlash happening.
You know what I feel is happening? I feel that even though I feel that WWE took the fact that fans rallied behind Johnny with the Tommaso Ciampa thing, and then Adam Cole. Well, even not really with that. I think they rallied behind him with the Tommaso Ciampa thing, and then when Johnny started to turn heel and then went back very quickly after that, I think that soured a lot of fans, and it honestly felt like he's being crammed down people's throats. Some people might argue that. I can see it. I don't feel it, but I see it. So that's my take on that. You guys agree, disagree?
I've forgotten all about the turn, but that makes sense.
Yeah, because remember Royal Rumble time when he won the North American title as a heel. He beat Ricochet with heel tactics.
Yep.
That it wasn't a clean, happy-go-lucky Johnny Gargano white meat babyface finish. He was a little nefarious, and there you go.
And also, how long has this been going on, this Johnny arc? The better part of 3 years?
Yeah.
That's all, and what do we always clamor for? We clamor for long-term storytelling. We clamor for intelligent, intricate, but at the expense of all these other people, because I for one, wondered aloud how long until they anoint Adam Cole, because he's obviously the future. Now we've got Matt Riddle, and now we've got, Pete Dunne, and we've got all these other great talents that, Kushida, all these people that, there's just so many guys and girls, not just bring them into it because we're talking about, Johnny here.
Right.
But how long do you keep advancing that narrative at the expense of these other people that we are clamoring for, before it gets stale?
Can I be honest? I think they held on to this Johnny Gargano angle in spite of themselves because they didn't have any other idea. Because I honestly believe in a perfect world, Ciampa Gargano ends the way it did, ends the way it was supposed to at TakeOver New York for WrestleMania weekend. And that's the last we see of Tommaso Ciampa in NXT. I think Ciampa was gone. Ciampa shows up on Monday night.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But when, they went to Tommaso turning heel when his ankle was already busted, his shoulder was already busted going into that match with AOP, and then he blew his knee in that match, and they had to get Ciampa off TV somehow. So just F it, turn heel, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
We didn't realize that when he came back, Tommaso Ciampa would end up being the best heel in the entire damn business.
Right.
And then when he came back, Tommaso Ciampa would be the biggest babyface in the entire business. In my opinion, WWE-wise, that's the dude that's stirring the drink. That's the straw that's stirring the drink right now for all of WWE. I think he's kind of dictating everything because I think wagons are getting hitched to Tommaso Ciampa, rightfully so. Let's move to one more NXT thing, and then we'll go on, and we'll do this one very quickly. Because for the first time ever, we're getting women in Wall Games. The wonderful Dusty Rhodes creation. It's going to be Team Baszler versus Team Ripley. And I love it. I'm looking forward to seeing who they put in there. And here's why. Are they going to put the team of Shafir and Duke? Are they going to put all three horsewomen in that match? Because Shafir and Duke are not nearly on the caliber of, say, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair. But here's the thing. If you put both of them in, so it's now Baszler, Belair, and Io Shirai, who's the fourth? Because there's not really another legit heel woman in NXT. Because, I mean, you can easily go on the other side. I mean, your face team's already made up. It's Rhea Ripley, it's Team Kick, and it's Candice. So, I mean...
And I'm trying to remember, because there was a lot more girls out there than just those 7.
Right, but there are also a lot of girls that don't get much TV time. There's Aaliyah, and there's Vanessa Bourne, and whatever they're calling Lacey Lane now. the really athletic girl with the massive dreadlocks.
I don't know what they're calling her now.
I don't know.
Caden something. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see what they do with that. But it's going to be cool to see that kind of go the way it does, especially because here's the one thing I'm looking for. Number one, Io Shirai is going to do something stupid off that cage. Please, please do that gorgeous ass moonsault of yours off the top of that cage. And I guarantee you, using with Rhea's power and how little Candice weighs, Rhea is going to fling her across the ring to wipe out somebody. Candice is going to go flying with a little assistance from Rhea Ripley, who, by the way, underrated as hell entrance music.
Yeah, for sure.
Underrated as hell. I finally listened to that. I was like, this is actually nasty. Dig it. We alluded to last week, we got a friend that may or may not run a certain social media account attached to a wrestling show that happens to be on Fox. You know, we may or may not know that guy. Did you see what WWE on Fox tweeted out shortly after the conclusion of Crown Jewel?
Hilarity is what they tweeted. A freaking hilarity.
At USA, at Monday night, at Raw, it's 5 o'clock. Do you know where your championship is? And it's a picture of Bray with the strobes hitting him, holding the title. I make allusions to the fact that we know him. I know the person behind the WWE on Fox account. He is a friend. He is a very close friend. I have known him for 8 years. You, sir, are a god. In my opinion, of all of these corporate Twitter accounts, Wendy's, him.
WWE on Fox is unbelievable. It's one of the best. One of the best follows on Twitter.
Yeah, and it's if you're not following WWE on Fox, you need to, because it's definitely not completely WWE fluff material.
Hey, get him to retweet my Halloween costume, man.
I'll try. When he was interning in NXT, I tried to get him to retweet a couple of things of mine. He literally only did one. And it was when I finally saw NXT and got into it, because what brought me into NXT was that 2 out of 3 falls match between Sami Zayn and Cesaro.
All in it.
I tweeted out to WWE NXT something to the effect of, okay, I've been watching, but after watching that, now you have my attention. And he retweeted it. Sami Zayn and Cesaro both tweeted it. I was like, yeah. But
I tagged him in it. I tagged WWE and Bray Wyatt and WWE on Fox. But
we'll see what happens. But anyway, we have a new. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, full disclosure, my opening salvo for this week before, the episode took shape the way it did was going to be on Wednesday when I started thinking about, gee, what are we going to talk about? Because it's kind of a slow, not a lot going on because I had low expectations for Crown Jewel. But all the news that came out of Crown Jewel, changed that perception of mine in a hurry. And you have to start with Bray winning the belt.
Yeah.
That's huge news, obviously.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt tweeted out the phrase, "The zombie man rules the universe."
Under the red light.
Yeah, under the red light, the zombie man rules the universe. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good.
Him in that red light.
Yeah, they're going with it. And you know what? Fine. It's not that big of a deal. Let me just say one thing, because when I pointed this out after Hell in a Cell, you both kind of gave me looks like I was a little stupid for saying this. They're making the Fiend like a 1980s horror villain. He's Michael.
Oh yeah, I thought that was brilliant what you said last week.
Yeah, he's Michael freaking Myers. Seb beat the piss out of him. He took 11 different curb stops, and on the 11th one, he stood his happy ass up just like that. I mean, it was like freaking hulking up.
Yep.
I mean, I was expecting to see him shaking his head and those dreads just go flying, and then Rollins tries to punch him once, and it's the block, and it's you. I mean, it was that abrupt. And then he gets super kicked off the stage, fireworks and explosions, and the finish was beautiful because Rollins goes to move that case, another firework or another explosion goes off, and Rollins is blinded, and that case is already off. So he's sitting on the first case where, he kind of made a hole in this little wall of cases, sits down, and then Bray Wyatt just towering over him. Rollins turns around, mandible claw into Sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3, champ. One of, as far as a story writing perspective is concerned, in my opinion, one of the best finishes I have ever seen. Just a brilliant finish to be able to go, this is how we make this particular character look the way we want it to. It was straight up out of a horror movie.
Absolutely.
Replace Bray Wyatt with Michael Myers. I just threw Michael Myers off of the Empire State Building. Splat. But there's not a nice big hole in the street, on whatever street in New York that is. You go downstairs, you're right there now. Well, at least he's dead now. Whoop, machete, bam. Cut to black, end.
Absolutely. It's everything they're doing is so well done, and it's been that way for a very long time.
Yeah.
For the Fiend.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Finn, but Bray Wyatt's still the hottest thing in the business.
I agree.
Ryan, Mr. Mazanin, what say you? I'm taking this scarf off, guys. I am roasting. And all right, we live in Northeast Ohio. It is 30-something degrees outside. I've got 2 windows open and a fan right over there blowing at me, and I'm cooking. Here's the problem. I'm only wearing this dress shirt. I've got a pair of basketball shorts down here. And I am sweating to death.
I got that on.
I won't do that because, again, basketball shorts, white legs. No. Yeah.
Well, what the A-lister has to say is that it's about time that WWE went all the way with this.
Yeah.
You've been steering Bray the Fiend towards the title for a while now, and what they're trying to do now, what I think they should be doing, is give him a strong 6-month plus title reign.
Yep.
Where just one guy after another tries to step to him and it doesn't work. I don't need to see him in a multi-month program with anybody. There's nothing wrong with running about 9 or 10 guys at him over the next 6 months.
And him terrorizing every last one of them.
Right, that's fine, because you want this guy to be a Leviathan that nobody can solve. The way to do that is have him win. Have him withstand all the punishment that you're obviously going to throw at him.
And keep
whatever
coming.
kind of match you want, and he keeps winning. I could see him holding the belt through and beyond WrestleMania at this point. Because I hate to paint it like this, but you owe him that much.
Yeah.
For all of the crap you made Bray Wyatt suffer through in 2014 and 2015 and 2016 and all that other stuff, here's your chance to make good on it. So I think, and it allows Seth Rollins to go off and snivel in the corner and everything like that, get himself right and go off to another challenge, because for whatever reason, this feud between the two of them didn't connect the way we hoped it might have connected. I'm glad to see Bray come out on top, but it's time for Seth to go do some other things. And let's let Bray go off and be awesome, and the sky's the limit for him at this point.
Absolutely.
We got one more thing to talk about before we go home to some homework, and I just wanted to point this out about Crown Jewel. If I could have done one thing differently with that Bray Wyatt, with the conclusion of the Bray Wyatt match, or maybe even the aftermath of it, he's got the belt, and you visibly see both of those gloves, hurt and heel. As RJ's probably going to show us the props. Yeah, exactly. Hurt and heel. And he's, obviously the hurt glove is the right hand, and that's how he uses the mandible claw. Why not do something with this one with the belt? Again, just thinking. Because, that's kind of, to a degree, Bray's salvation is because, hey, we're giving him the title. We believe in him again. So just a thought. Again, what kind of one of those we're booking it deals. So one more thing before homework. They announced at Crown Jewel that for the first time ever, Survivor Series is going to feature Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. To me, could go one of two ways. And it's either really good for NXT to give them more exposure, or they're going to bury them.
Yeah. I don't think they get buried.
So in the past, we've seen, and let's keep this one to about 5 or so minutes, and then we'll do homework. In the past, we've seen Raw versus SmackDown, champion versus champion. Let's just take just that, for example. Champion versus champion. So in this particular case, Lesnar and Bray Wyatt. But now we're also adding Adam Cole, baby. Or whoever the champ might be, if they do what I had suggested, and all the titles are on the line at War Games. Bray, Brock, and Ciampa. Whatever. Are they going to make everything a triple threat? Or are they going to intermingle NXT in somehow, some way? What do you guys think? What better question? What would you do? Because clearly we're probably all of the opinion that WWE is going to do something stupid.
Yeah.
would you do?
I don't want a whole night of triple threat matches, though.
No, it'd be stupid.
That would get clunky and arduous, and everything else that we don't like about these WWE shows.
Right.
And as soon as you said those three names just now, that would be a clunky match.
Yes, it would.
I don't want to feed. And this is the wrong terminology, and forgive me for making it sound like these two guys can't hold their own. I don't want to put either one of those guys in the ring with Lesnar. I just don't.
Yeah.
Because Lesnar's going to be like, well, I got to get my stuff in, and I got to make sure I'm the winner, and I don't just screw that. Everybody loses at one point. I'll say something that The Rock used to say on one of his, if The Rock wins every time, that gets boring. That's one thing that I would give The Rock mad props for. The Rock did his share of losing.
Oh yeah.
He never insisted upon, I have to be the one that with my hand raised at the end. He lost a lot. He lost to Triple H a lot. He lost to Mick Foley a lot. He lost to Stone Cold a lot. He lost to all these people.
Dwayne Johnson has never once been accused of burying talent.
So
there's a lot of other people in this business, Triple H, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Randy Orton.
That's why, for me, a Lesnar versus Adam Cole versus Bray Wyatt match doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's not. Do you trust the three of them to have their in-ring styles mesh with each other? I trust Bray and Adam Cole too.
Oh yeah.
But then you have Lesnar just, doing Brock Lesnar things. Oh,
yeah.
let me F5 you and let me suplex you and get a 3 count.
Right.
So that's why I think strategic triple threat matches, like, if you had, oh, come on, Brian, think of one. Like if you put Keith Lee versus Aleister Black versus, because Aleister's on Raw, right?
Yeah.
Keith Lee versus Aleister Black versus Nakamura. That would be compelling. That would be a clash of styles in a positive way.
Right.
But I think a whole night of that would be clunky at best and bury people at worst.
Right. And that's kind of what my fear is, that NXT is going to end up taking the business end of this. RJ, your thoughts and then homework.
I mean, I feel like I don't really know what I would do. I feel like
why not?
they might they're gonna do triple threat matches, at least a couple, almost for sure. I feel like they do some kind of team match where Raw and SmackDown get the draft guys from NXT or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna do some kind of team match with NXT intertwined in Raw and SmackDown some way. They can't just do all triple threat matches, but
right.
They're them, so of course they can, I guess.
Right. And one other thing I want to point out, are we just talking NXT? Or are we also talking NXT UK? Because then, hypothetically, now we're talking an even clunkier match of Bray Wyatt, Adam Cole, Brock Lesnar, and Walter. Oh, Walter chopping Brock Lesnar and knocking that penis sword tattoo on his head clean off. Yes, it looks like a penis. I'm sorry. Fight me. Hey, tagline. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah. All right. Homework. Hand in your papers. What do we have? Who had it?
RJ had it.
Uncensored 1999, a first blood match with Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan. If Hulk Hogan wins, he retains the NWO WCW World Heavyweight Championship, and Ric Flair has to retire from WCW to never be seen again. If Flair wins, he wins the championship, and he's already president of WCW, but if he beats Hogan, he wins the NWO WCW World Heavyweight Championship and becomes president of WCW forever. First blood match in a steel cage with barbed wire at the top.
And Ric Flair.
And Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, who's one of the greatest bleeders in the history of pro wrestling.
If you look at him, he bleeds.
Yeah, I know. I remember when this match got announced. Huh?
I said, if you look at him, he bleeds, and I think that might have been what happened.
Yeah. I remember when this match got announced. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, come on. You can't have a first blood match with Ric Flair. That's like having a match with Scott Steiner and RVD, and whoever botches first, it loses.
You know who would win that match? Sandman would win that match. That should be Sandman's gimmick match.
Yeah, Sandman would win that match. Brian, first off, I'm giving you my grade and I'm letting Brian go. D. I hated this match. Brian.
The match gets a C minus. I've become aware of the fact the more I watch the two of them in a ring together, as I get exposed to more WCW content, Flair and Hogan just don't sync well.
No.
And I understand now what WWE, why they hesitated. Was it WrestleMania 7? When it was going to be the two of them?
7.
And they had the house shows or whatever, and it didn't get the response they were hoping for, so they did a hard 180, Hogan versus Psycho Sid and Flair versus Savage instead.
Right.
This match was just clunky and, like false starts, and then you had Arn Anderson and you had David Flair, and I forget who David Flair came down with. Was that
Crowbar?
the girl?
Oh, Daphne.
Who was it?
Wait,
And
no.
it was just a flimsy premise for a match. I thought the best thing about the match was Michael Buffer, because anytime you got Michael Buffer, that's a good day.
Yeah.
But even he, as he's announcing all the stipulations, you can see him thinking, like, really? Can I just have a boxing match, please, where I announce Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas, and then I get out of here?
Am I getting paid by the word here?
Yeah, probably. I hope he was, or paid by the index card or whatever. But it just, like, it rang hollow for me, and I think this match clinches what we were saying about, or what has been said about the two of them. Two of the best in the business for various reasons and various skill sets, but when you put them together, you don't get the magic that you were hoping for, really.
No, not even close.
And that's why, this match just fell flat for me. And RJ, remember you said the reason why was because it went along with our bar talk discussion about heels turns and face turns. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be looking for then.
Yeah, it
Flair
came
turning? Was it Hogan? I don't know what was happening. So Professor RJ, please explain.
It came off differently. There wasn't really. It was Flair as a heel, and he was a heel at the end, and it. Okay. Yeah, it came off differently than it came off the first time I ever watched this match.
Yeah.
That's fair.
For me, I'll give the match a C+ personally, only for the pure entertainment value. It's a first blood match, and Flair's bleeding in a minute and a half, and Hogan's bleeding 5 minutes after that, and it's just the whole thing is
still going on.
Clunky. Like I'm in the match, and I'm like, Flair's bleeding, and I don't know what, like, and then Hogan starts bleeding. And then it's anybody watching this match is like, how is it even going to end now? Like, because the referee won't let Hogan pin Flair, and they're both bleeding, and submissions don't count, and you can't climb out of the cage, and like, how does anybody even win in the match? And then because it's a first blood match, he puts a submission on him at the end, and the entertainment value of the match and the clunkiness of it and how it made absolutely no sense at all whatsoever, even a little, makes me give it a C+. because it was absolutely hilarious to just sit there the whole time and just laugh at how ridiculous this was.
It was
So
painful to watch.
I do lift it from a D to a C plus a little bit for one particular reason as well. We're watching. Oh man, I don't remember. Was it Raw? It was Raw or SmackDown. We're all my family were sitting in the living room and we're watching Raw or SmackDown. I don't remember which one it was. I actually think he said it on both shows. Oh yeah, it was SmackDown because I yelled about it happening yesterday. I said, I gave you guys this match as homework that Ric Flair wins. For folks that don't know, Ric Flair wins this match by pinfall to become the new champion and president of WCW forever. A post I believe he probably still holds to this day. Hogan looked at Flair leading up to this Crown Jewel match last Friday on SmackDown, and he said, "You've never beaten me, and you won't start now." And I jumped up off the couch and screamed, "He literally beat you in a match I gave as homework yesterday."
I forget about that.
And it was so hilarious. It was so funny. "You've never beaten me," and I'm like, yeah, he totally has beaten you before.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm on the hook for homework, and so the last time I was allowed to give homework, it's been a while since I've got to do homework.
Wonder why?
Huh?
I said, wonder why.
Well, I'm gonna make it up. I'm gonna make it up to you guys. You were not getting a shite match from me this week, and if either one of you think this is a crappy match, I will kill you because because I will need to put you out of your misery for being dumb, Brian. That's one. If you think this match is terrible,
but you can't go around levying threats at people like that. I mean, we're all here trying to educate the wrestling masses, and you're walking around talking about killing people.
Well, okay,
sir.
I'm saying this, dude, because I'm trying to show you how adamant I am about redeeming myself for giving you such a shite match before I left for my honeymoon.
So let's threaten people with bodily harm. Okay, let's write this match down here.
That's my
Put
gimmick.
that pin.
That's what I do. Shut up. I'm better than you, and you know, even though I'm not dressed the part. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so I take you, and this is the part that I'm going to get groans about because here it comes. The promotion is WCW.
Of course it is.
The year is 1996, and the pay-per-view is Starrcade. You will not have to search far into this pay-per-view to find it because it is literally the third match of the show. I give you Rey Mysterio Jr., saying his name correctly, versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yay.
And RJ's already smiling.
Yep.
RJ's like, nope, this match does not suck.
No, it does not.
This match is amazing. I bring this match because, as always, here's our reasons. Number one, Jushin Thunder Liger, as he's getting ready for his final match at Wrestle Kingdom in January, after a 750-year career. I swear to God, I do not know how old that man is. But kind of, I wanted to find the best Liger match I could find on WWE Network. There's only 6 of them. But I initially was trying to think Liger and Brian Pillman. There was 2 of them when Liger won the light heavyweight title off Pillman and when Pillman beat Liger for it at Super Brawl 2. And there was a few here and there. There was also the Tyler Breeze and Liger match from the very first Takeover Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I stumbled across this and was like, son of a gun. Originally, I was going to give you guys Great Muta and Masahiro Chono for the NWA title at Super Brawl 92, but I was watching and I'm like, this match isn't as good as I remembered it. So I started kind of going back and like, yeah. Because also, foreshadowing, I wanted to do Great Muta because, did RJ, have you noticed that our dear professor gave us some more bonus content and we had a little talk by the fireplace not too long ago?
Yep.
Well, I have some bonus content coming, and it has something to do with something that the Great Muta is very, very known for. Asian mist, the green mist.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it here in a couple days. I'm probably going to record it on Saturday morning because I'm going to go off. It's going to be great. But anyway, Starrcade 1996, Liger, Rey Mysterio Jr. I hope you guys enjoy because it is a great freaking match.
Fantastic.
It is 21-year-old Rey Mysterio when he is still, at his absolute young, high-flying potential. And another reason I wanted to bring it up, because I think maybe we go ahead and book this, because we seem to do it before pay-per-views. How about we book our next GOAT discussion for next week?
I'm down for that.
Yep.
RJ? So we will talk about Rey Mysterio Jr. And RJ, I believe when we do our next GOAT discussion after this, I believe you're on the hook for the name.
All right.
So, which will more than likely be the one before Survivor Series. Because I think we enjoy doing these more than we do previews for pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do this one. And then for the show going into Survivor Series, we'll have a GOAT discussion with someone RJ comes up with. Keep in mind, always got, the GOAT discussions always, guys, it's always, and this is for our viewers, always going to be someone that you wouldn't be one of the first names you rattle off when you hear the question, who's the greatest professional wrestler of all time? So no Hogan, no Flair, no Shawn, no one like that. It's always going to be those, those kind of names that you really wouldn't think about it until you start looking at their career and going, oh, crap, they've done a lot. So, like I said, like we've talked about, we talked about Jericho, we've talked about The Undertaker, we've talked about AJ Styles, and now we'll talk about no argument to it, the single greatest masked man of all time. And where he stands in the world of the greatest ever. Before we get out of here, gentlemen, any final thoughts? I don't know why I did that. Apparently, I am 2 consecutive weeks with doing some stupid hand motion toward the end of the show.
That's
final
gonna be in my thoughts.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and do my final thoughts, and if our friend the Fiend wants to get us out of here, he most certainly can. If he doesn't, he can just wave his hand and I'll let him go now. All right. He wants. Oh, he does. Okay. Any final thoughts? Oh, you want to close? Thumbs up if you want to close. You want to go now? You do not want to go now. Okay, cool. Hey, my final thoughts. Can't wait for next week. Gonna be a good show. Hope you guys join us. RJ, Mr. Fiend, take it away.
It's really hard to talk in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also hard to breathe in it too. Anyway.
Oh, you want to close it?
No, go ahead.
All right, cool. Well, as always, we appreciate you guys joining us on the show. This has been a fun one. Thank you for our Halloween edition. Titled simply, RJ, what the bloody hell was that?
That's probably yeah.
Don't forget, as always, email us wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. You can hit us up. I'll get the Twitters here in a little bit. Don't forget the Google repository at bit.ly/withegos. If you're on PlayStation and you want to rock and roll, RJ's at GoBrown16. Brian, I forgot yours.
I'm not really on it enough for them to find me.
Oh, cool.
So we can
Brian,
skip that.
RJ's at GoBrown16. I'm at, obviously enough, rant mode on. By the way, if you guys are playing Brawlhalla, get at me because I've just recently learned about that game and it's fun. It's like non-Nintendo Super Smash Bros. Hell yes. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell. That way you're getting the notifications on this crazy, rowdy smorgasbord of chaos. I love it. And as always, we're on Twitter. RJ's at RJEman with not one, but 2 N's. Brian is at BCREGO15. And of course, your boy right here, apropos, rant mode on. Until next week, when we talk about the greatest of all time and a little bit of Full Gear, this has been Wrestling with Egos. Happy Halloween-ish. Happy we're getting close to freezing our asses off and eating turkey. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.